Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on the toes. Hi.
So if you didn't know, Kayla Wilkie, better known as Winter Blanco, has come out with a tell-all book on some celebrities in the industry. If you don't know who Kayla is, she was on the Bad Girls Club known as Winter. While she was on there, she was really good friends with the rapper Dream Doll, and her and Dream Doll are no longer friends, but they were during this time. And while they were on the season of the Bad Girls Club, Kayla and Dream Doll, well, Winter and Dream Doll, decides to bully a younger female that was on there. She was not a threat at all, which made the viewers look at, Winter and Dream Doll as weak because they felt the need to pick on, this helpless girl, pretty much. And Dream Doll ended up getting kicked off of the show, the Bad Girls Club, because of the bullying. And Kayla ended up getting kicked off a few episodes later, basically, of fighting. She did a lot of fighting on the show. But she dated Justin Combs before she came to the Bad Girls Club. It was one of the reasons she was chose, because she dated him. And in the process of that, she has a tell-all book that she has now come out with, and it's called See, I Was Right. Shout out to Kayla Wilkie, because I was very pleasantly surprised by how well written this book is. It is definitely a good read. I would definitely encourage people to go check it out. There's a lot of things in here that I didn't know about Winter, and I love how candid she is and how honest, she is. She doesn't really have anything to hide, you can tell, but she also has to protect herself. Now, in this book, she talks about this family called the Barclays family, which is definitely AKA for the Combs family, and how some things happened to her while she dated Xavier, aka Justin Combs. So let's dive right into that. Winter from the Bad Girls Club, her quote, "I was pregnant and Diddy made me have an abortion." There's a real messy situation developing on social media. MTO News has learned involving former Bad Girls Club star Winter and billionaire Sean Diddy Combs. Winter recently released a new memoir where she described all the ups and downs of her life. But one passage in particular has piqued people's interest and has them talking. In that passage, Winter talks about dating a man named Xavier from the highly affluent Barclays family. Now, before we go any further, let's break a few things down. MTO News has confirmed that Winter dated Diddy's son, Justin Combs, on and off for many years. And based on how she described the family and what's known about her dating history, many are speculating that the Barclays family is the Combs family. Now back to the memoir. In it, Winter claims to have gotten pregnant by Xavier, whom would be Justin Combs, and then says he and his father intimidated her into getting an abortion. She later went on IG Live explaining why she couldn't use the real names in her memoir.
For 9 years, okay? I've seen a lot of shit. A lot of fucked up shit happen. Fucked up shit has happened to me by A-list celebrities, and I am also another person who has not come forth about a lot of shit that is happening in Los Angeles, because at the end of the day, you can ultimately ruin your career by outing these people who are comfortable as fuck, whatever the case may fucking be. You know, like, anything can happen out here in LA, and if the person has power and the person has fame and the person has money, trust me, baby, it's going.
In Winter's book, she goes over, you know, how her relationship with, you know, Xavier, which would be, once again, aka Justin Combs, it was up and down. You know, they had good times, a lot of shopping sprees, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, go over and take a look at See I Was Right and, you know, get all the details for yourself. But here's what I will say. Winter states in the book that she had to get an abortion because of Diddy and Justin, basically stating that they pressured her into getting an abortion. So she felt that she had to. Once again, felt that she had to. Winter, when having an abortion, especially, you're a woman and that is your body and that is your child. So you get to decide those things. You decided it. In the book, she states how Mr. Barkley, you know, came into the room, the hotel that she was at, after she was flown out by Justin, well, aka, you know, well, Xavier. And she was flown out immediately after telling Xavier, aka Justin, that she was pregnant. So he flew her to him immediately. When that happened, there was another party that, you know, when she's stating that Justin and Diddy basically made her get an abortion, there's another person that was involved in that too. But before we get into that, she states how, you know, she got to the hotel, and when she came into the hotel room, she was hanging out with Justin, and then all of a sudden, you know, Justin came back into the room. He was basically white-faced, you know, as if something was wrong. He was nervous. He was afraid of what was to come. What came in the room was Mr. Barkley, aka Diddy. So he sat down, he had a conversation with Winter, basically stating that his son felt trapped. You know, that he feels like he's in a situation that he can't get out of. He feels forced to be, you know, a father, and, you know, you be pregnant and, you know, you guys have a baby. You know, he doesn't, you know, want that. He's trapped, if you will. So Winter decides to get an abortion. She goes and gets the abortion, and after she gets it, Diddy comes and checks on her basically and offers her things, a boutique, you know, money, you know, you're good, you know, how they are in, you know, the celebrity industry, you know, especially with Hollywood, is how they feel like you do something for them, they have to do something for you. So since Winter, you know, went and got the abortion, as, you know, because that's what Mr. Barkley, aka Diddy, and Xavier, aka Justin Combs, wanted, she, you know, Diddy was coming to check on her. And in the process of that, she states that Xavier, Justin, was very, you know, welcoming and loving and supportive, you know, basically like of her, you know, he had empathy, sympathy, all of the things that were needed within this process to make her feel as if this wasn't an easy decision for him as well. So kind of more so them bonding over, you know, not losing a child, but, you know, how that situation goes. I said earlier that there was a person that was being left out, and she was leaving out Misa Hilton, which is Justin Combs' mother. When Winter first got there, she was met by Justin and Justin's mom. She heard Justin's mom's voice before, like on the phone, slight conversation, but never met her. So this was the first time she met Misa. And Misa hung out with Winter back at, you know, the place that they were staying. And she says to Winter, because Winter was going to go out and hang out with Justin because Justin was about to go out. And Misa told, you know, Winter, you know, you're not going, girl. You know, you're pregnant. You shouldn't be going out to bars and stuff. I mean, you can't do the same. Well, not just bars, just basically in general. You know, you can't do the same things you were doing before you were pregnant. You know, you're pregnant now. You know, so you can't do those things. So Winter obliged and stayed, and there was an awkward, you know, kind of transaction between her and Misa, which is Justin's mother. So make sure you go check out Winter's book, See I Was Right, and, you know, check out what all. Misa Hilton is Justin Combs' mom, which is Diddy's eldest son. So Justin is the oldest out of all of Diddy's kids. And she was there as well when Winter met, Justin, and I believe it was New York. So she was present as well. And I believe that Misa was the buffer. Misa was supposed to come in and sit with Winter, make Winter feel at home, and also, probe her, if you will. Get as much information as she can on Winter so she can see what Winter wants. And finding out what Winter wants, she'll call and tell Diddy. She'll do her report with Diddy before Diddy approaches Winter, because then Diddy will already know what to offer her. Winter states in this book that Diddy offered her a boutique, a record deal, he offered her things. So with Diddy offering, her these items, it's what he's done in the past. No different than with people too, or I believe Cassie. I believe that Diddy made Cassie get abortions because he gave her and bought her a boutique as well. So we're going to get into that. But, as of now, I just want to point out the fact that this was Winter's decision to get an abortion. It may not be something she was proud of, but still at the same time, nobody forced her literally to go and do it. If she wanted to keep her baby by Justin, she definitely could have. She chose not to. She was intimidated. She was afraid, I'm sure. So she, just decided to get rid of her baby. So you can't just blame that on other people, girl. 50% of that is yours, meaning the 50% of you going in and making sure that it happened. That was your choice. Now, the lead up to how you got to even sitting here thinking about, an abortion at all was definitely influenced by Justin, Misa, and Diddy. Winter had decided before she even told Justin that she was going to keep her baby, because she had already told her family, her mom, and whatnot. So her family knew, that she was pregnant, because she was planning on keeping it. And Justin had, different plans. So speaking of Misa, let's get into Misa and Diddy's relationship. Shout out to yourtango.com. They have an interesting article about Diddy. And in this article, it is stated that Diddy used to regularly beat, allegedly, Misa Hilton when they used to date, because that was one of Diddy's first girlfriends, like public girlfriends, especially with, fame and before the fame. So Gene Deal, which is Diddy's ex-bodyguard, he's no longer Diddy's bodyguard, but he was Diddy's bodyguard in the early 90s and so forth. He has his own YouTube channel as well, and he has allegedly stated that Diddy used to beat Misa regularly. So, and Misa is Justin Combs' mother. So I understand the fear that she might have had too, to where she felt like, when Diddy calls her and tells her to do something, she has to do it, because he has kind of like left her on stuck, meaning she got married. And when she got married, she had other children. She has had homes going to foreclosure and things of that nature. She's raised her child support because I think originally she was getting like $30,000 a month, and she wanted raised another $5,000, which was $35,000, and that was the same amount that Kim Porter was getting from Diddy at the time. So she went up the same amount as Kim. I don't know if it was jealousy, I don't know what it was, but she only has one kid by Diddy, and Kim had 3. So I was just kind of, side-eyeing that, just kind of like, So Diddy at the time was stating that it was more so of a money grab, and whatnot, but he always has stated how he's had the utmost respect for Misa. And not for the reason why Diddy does that and why he didn't publicly try to humiliate her, although he was a low-key trying to make it seem as if she needed the money because she was getting remarried or married, and she needed the money to take care of her husband. And then he tried to push the narrative that she was using the money because she needed the money because she was getting divorced, from said husband. So he just had all his stories were just all over the place, but he never necessarily disrespected her. And I think that Diddy does that because he knows that Misa has information. Misa has a story, and if she comes forward and tells her story, it is going to make Diddy look like a very horrible person. So I felt that Diddy wasn't fighting it much because he wanted to keep the peace by keeping the silence, because allegedly Gene Deal has stated that Diddy used to beat Misa on the regular when they were in a relationship, and it was also the cause of their breakup. The abuse that Diddy was allegedly doing to Misa, she just got fed up and she left the situation with her son, Justin Combs. But she is not the only person that Diddy allegedly put his hands on. When Diddy and Cassie had broke up her mom allegedly called the police to where they were out of concern for Cassie. So now I'm not going to say that, she was being abused at the time, but it does seem like a red flag and why her mom would feel the need to get the authorities involved with her daughter allegedly being, attacked or assaulted. It's different with an argument, that's really no reason to call the police, but to hear or your daughter's calling you crying, letting you know that she's hurt or she's been injured is definitely a reason to get the police involved. And shortly after that, Cassie and Diddy, broke up. So let's get into the story about the authorities being called. Article from TMZ. Diddy and Cassie have called it quits following an explosive argument that ended with the cops rushing to her home, TMZ has learned. Sources close to the couple tell TMZ they got into a heated argument in a car Wednesday afternoon after Cassie told Diddy she wanted to break up. We're told Diddy got pissed off and suspicious enough to grab her phone and started scrolling through. Our sources say Diddy jumped out the car in Beverly Hills, phone in hand, and she took off with the driver. Diddy eventually came home and returned the phone, but then took 2 cars parked outside. Cassie had told her mom about the phone incident before Diddy came home and returned, and the mom called the cops on him. Cops ended up at Cassie's home and she explained she got the phone back, so they left, but not before writing up a domestic incident report. However, we're told no crimes was committed. As for the breakup, we're told they are done, but they have done this before, so who knows? So obviously Diddy was upset. He was taking cars because there was 2 cars that were parked outside of Cassie's home and those cars were removed. He took them, he bought them, he took them. No different than the boutique. I believe that she got presents and gifts for having abortions throughout the years. Diddy never wanted to marry Cassie. Diddy was engaged allegedly for 4 hours. It's a secret that he told on the Ellen DeGeneres show that he was secretly engaged for only 4 hours before basically breaking the woman's heart and telling her that he really didn't want to be married. And I believe that woman was Cassie, either Kim Porter or Cassie, but I more so believe that it was Cassie, that he proposed to because Cassie wanted to be married. Look how quickly Cassie got married to Alex Fine after leaving Diddy and being with Alex, which was Diddy's trainer. So definitely karma. But I do believe that Cassie really wanted to be married. She always thought that Diddy would, pop the question to her. And I believe that men do things to keep people around when they know that they want something. So I believe that he proposed to Cassie for 4 hours just to keep her around because once again, she was ready to break up. She's seen this isn't going anywhere. It's time to move around. So Diddy, allegedly took her cars. He took her phone and whatnot. Very controlling, very manipulative, very vindictive. So I do believe that Cassie's mom called the police because her daughter was being allegedly physically assaulted by Diddy. He does have a track record of hitting and being very abusive to the women that he dates. We were speaking of Gene Deal earlier, which is Diddy's former bodyguard, and when he spoke on Diddy's abusive past. So let's get into other people that it is alleged that Diddy was abusive to, women. So in 2018, Diddy's former bodyguard confirmed the reports that Diddy was indeed abusive to his past girlfriends, including the late model Kim Porter. Gene Deal, the bodyguard in question, claimed that Diddy not only broke Porter's nose, which was subsequently disguised as plastic surgery, he used to also regularly beat on her and his first girlfriend, Misa Hilton. And the abuse was allegedly the reason of the cause of their breakup. So Gene saying back in the day that Diddy allegedly broke Kim Porter's nose, that he hit the woman so hard that her nose broke. And these alleged, if you look at her nose here when she was with AB0RTIONS, and if you look at her nose here, after being with Diddy, you can see that there is a difference. So she allegedly did not get cosmetic surgery on her nose for, appeal or to feel better or because she was insecure, about her nose. She allegedly was not okay with what it looked like after Diddy allegedly broke it. So this is why Kim Porter has different noses, a different nose in the 90s versus her nose in, past the 2000s, especially the 2003, 2004, era. So, and on. So allegedly, Kim Porter got a nose job back in the day because Diddy allegedly hit her so hard in her face that she had to get cosmetic surgery to try and cover up what happened. So there's this woman that goes by the name of Virginia V, and she did an intensive interview on the blogger's channel, Transrena No Credibility Kibi. So if you would like to go over there and check that out, you absolutely can. And no, I don't even like her in Surviving, so I'm not going to act like I like Transrena Crumhaving Kibi. But Virginia V went on there, and Virginia's real name is Gina Hun, and she claimed that she was in a relationship with Diddy while he was still involved with Cassie Ventura. So if you would like to go over there to Transrena Crumhaving Kibi and check out that interview, you go right ahead. I'm not saying that Virginia J or Virginia V is not telling the truth. I'm just saying she went on a non-credible platform to express her truth. So you guys go right over there and check that out. Virginia V states that while she was with Diddy, allegedly she was in an abusive relationship with him. And on top of that, he also made her, once again, this made word, her get 2 abortions. And in the process, she used to be abused in front of other people, Diddy's friends, some of his, entourage. And no one necessarily, but besides D-Rock, would actually do anything, when she was being publicly abused by Diddy. Like I said, go over to Transrena Crumhaving Kibi if you would like to check out the rest of that interview. Make sure you guys come check out part 2 of Surviving Diddy, to where we get into more and even more stories that a lot of people don't know. So we will definitely uncover those things. I'm your boy, SeanDavieWay, and until the next show, bye.
Tá with café,